right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wade's World. Hope everyone's having a good Monday, I believe it is. Yeah, Monday. Tonight, we are going to discuss a ongoing case that's taken place. It's still being investigated. It's still being unraveled. I have only seen bits and pieces of this throughout like social media and on the news. So I don't have all the details. We're going to go over all that together. But if you're from here, you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. It's pretty big, I think, in the news right now. And if you're not from here, it'll be something I think you're going to have a pretty easy time finding. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the details of this story. This is the Forest Grove Quintuple Homicide. Wow. Quintuple. So when fire crews, it looks like the discovery that took place. So when fire crews reached the property on Northwest Otis Lane, they expected a burning car. They didn't expect to be finding human remains lying near it. They radioed for deputies. Then while securing the area, they found another body. And another. By the time the sun rose, the count had reached 5. 5 people, multiple animals, all dead. The property contained 2 homes, a burned vehicle, debris, scattered debris, and signs of violence that stretched across the land. Fire crews had to stage outside because, as one official put it, there was no room for anybody else. So I'm sure a lot of responders came to this. This wasn't a single event. This was a chain of horrors. So the victims in this case, authorities have later identified the victims. So starting with Mary Elizabeth Kimsey, 85 years old. Rowan Carla Kimsey, 60 years old. Stella Jade Kimsey, 26 years old. Lindsay May Haroldson, 26 years old, and Alvin Raymond Chu, 27 years old. 3 generations, a mother, her daughter, and her granddaughter, a best friend, and a partner, all wiped out in one night. Several animals were also killed. Dogs, cats, one so badly injured it had to be euthanized. This wasn't random. This wasn't targeted. This was targeted. The suspect, so detectives quickly identified a person of interest, a 36-year-old male, Benjamin Charles Parker. This was Stella Kimsey's boyfriend. Huh. But before investigators could question him, Parker was found dead as well. Inside a vehicle behind a Safeway in Enumclaw, Washington. I'm probably butchering that, sorry, but Enumclaw, Washington. An apparent suicide. He knew every victim, he had ties to the property, and he had fled the state. Okay. The timeline suggests he killed 5 people, left the scene, drove north, and ended his own life hours later. But the motive? Still unknown. We have no idea why this took place. In the crime scene, Sheriff Caprice Massey said, "In my 22 years here, I have not been a part of or witnessed a scene quite this complex. This property was chaotic. 2 homes, a burned vehicle, multiple deceased animals, and 5 human victims spread across different areas. Investigators had to bring in forensic teams, crash reconstruction specialists, animal services, multiple police agencies across 2 states. The scene was so large and so disturbing that even seasoned detectives struggled to process it. This had to have been horrible. Authorities have not released the causes of death, not publicly anyway, not yet. That silence alone tells you just how bad this is. Yeah, they're probably keeping that close to the chest. As far as investigations going, detectives are still working to piece it all together. The order of the killings, whether the fire was meant to destroy evidence, how long Parker stayed on the property, what triggered the violence, and why he fled to Washington, and whether anyone else knew what was happening. Like, if he made anyone else aware, who knows? They've asked the public for help. Anyone who knew the residents, the suspect, or the property. But so far, the story remains fragmented. A puzzle with blood-stained pieces. And the community in Forest Grove is small, rural, tight-knit. People there wake up early. They know their neighbors. They wave at strangers. They don't lock their doors. This is a town I drive through personally twice every day. I go through Forest Grove on my way to work, and I go through Forest Grove on my way home. And it's a very small town. There's like one main drag that has a bunch of little businesses and shops, and it's very, kind of has this whimsical small town vibe to it. So I for one can say that that statement's true. It's a very tight-knit community. This crime shattered that sense of safety. 5 lives gone, 3 generations erased, a suspect dead hundreds of miles away, and in a community left wondering how something so violent and so personal, so catastrophic, could happen in their backyard. Yeah. Tonight's case is a reminder that even the quietest places can hold some pretty dark secrets, that violence doesn't always come from strangers, and that sometimes the most disturbing mysteries aren't unsolved, they're simply incomprehensible. The Forest Grove Quintuple Homicide remains under active investigation today. More details will come, I'm sure, but for now, we're kind of left with a burned vehicle, 5 victims, a dead suspect, and a crime scene investigators say they will never forget. This is the Pacific Northwest, and these are its darkest stories. I know I've been reading a lot of stories from the past, the 80s, the 70s, the 50s, but here we are, 2026, and this has just taken place. But I do want to get into maybe a few other details here. The psychological profile of Benjamin Parker. This case leaves a massive hole where motive should be, but the behavior we do know suggests extreme escalation, going from domestic conflict to killing 5 people and multiple animals, is a catastrophic psychological break. Like, this dude snapped for some unknown reason. Personal targeting. All victims were connected to him through Stella. This wasn't random. It was intimate. He knew everyone that he was killing. That's horrible. I mean, it's horrible no matter what, but he knew who he was doing it to. Flight and suicide, leaving the state and ending his life, indicates he knew the magnitude of what he had done. You know, what kind of mental state leads to killing these 3 generations of a family? Like, how messed up was this guy? Like, what was going on in his head that made this take place? You know, was it planned? Was it a premeditated thing? Did he have this going on in his brain for a long time? Or was it simply like a snap in the moment that made him do it? I mean, we're never going to know. And why did he kill the animals too? Like, why the cats and dogs? That often signals rage, like control or an attempt to eliminate witnesses. I mean, these are animals. So what are they they're not gonna sit in an interrogation room and turn you in. So it's like, why did you take out the animals too? I mean, that's just, you know, I think it's not so much control. I think it's a lack of control. I think it was like a frenzy in that moment for him. Investigators called the scene complex, which usually means multiple points of violence, movement across the property, possibly different methods of killing, a timeline that wasn't instantaneous. This wasn't one moment, it was a sequence. So from what they've said, with how large the property is and how spread out everything was, I mean, this didn't happen like in a living room. This happened in one place and then in another place and another place, like systematically ran through this family and the property. That is so bonkers. You know, what does a complex scene imply? Well, I think that's exactly it. It's about the killer's mindset. Did the fire happen first or last? You know, did he start a fire to, like they think, you know, to try and destroy evidence? Did he start the fire first, you know, as like his initial break and like freaking out and did something? It's just hard to say, you know. Was it meant to distract? responders. I don't know. So the impact, I mean, like 3 generations died in one night, an elderly woman, her daughter and her granddaughter. That's a rare homicide case. It suggests that there's a personal vendetta of some kind that was taking place there, a desire to wipe out an entire family line, deep emotional entanglement. Why would Parker target Stella's entire family? Was there some triggering event? Did anyone see warning signs of this coming? Obviously, these are all questions I don't think we're ever going to get answers to, but they roll through the mind, The animals killing multiple animals is a disturbing detail that I think often gets overlooked. In forensic psychology, killing animals is a red flag for extreme rage or, psychopathy. Like, you look at other famous cases of serial killers, Dahmer and what, it's like they all started kind of in that realm of killing animals, and then it escalated. I don't know what was going on with this guy. I don't know his past. I don't know what was going on in his brain before all this, but wow, it can indicate that the killer wanted total control over the environment, okay? It may show he didn't want anything left alive that belonged to the victims. Oh, so like a total wipeout, He was so upset, so enraged that killing them wasn't enough. He had to take out everything that was theirs as well, is what that sounds like to me. So what does the killing of the animals say about the emotional state of the killer? Was this symbolic, punitive, or simply practical? I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard one to wrap your head around. That's some deep psychological unwellness. And then the escape to Washington. So driving from Forest Grove to, I'm going to butcher it again, Enumclaw, is roughly a 3-hour drive. That's a long time to sit with what you've just done. So what was going through his mind during that drive, I wonder? Was he planning to run? Was that a spur of the moment? Or was suicide always his end game? And why Enumclaw? It's random. Or was it random? Is it familiar? A place he felt safe? I have no damn idea. And then, like silence from investigators so far, like authorities have not released causes of death, order of death, weapons used, motive. I'm sure this is ongoing. It's so fresh. I'm sure there's a lot of that still going on. So I have to show a little bit of patience with that. But yeah, they're keeping a lot close to the chest at the moment. When police hold back this much, though, usually it can mean things like the details are extremely disturbing. And in this case, they probably are. It sounds like this is going to be a horrific outcome. The investigation's still active, which it is. So that's another reason why they're going to keep things to themselves. They're protecting surviving family members. That can also be a thing. And they're waiting for forensic confirmation. So like I said, this is very fresh, very new. So I'm okay with all of those answers because not enough time has gone by yet, I feel like. So what kinds of details do investigators typically withhold in cases like this? I think this is pretty cut and dry as far as the investigators are concerned. I think there just hasn't been enough time. I think give it a little bit more and we're going to have all those details. Maybe we'll do a follow-up or something to this. And then community trauma, Forest Grove being the small kind of rural town that it is, a quintuple homicide is not just a crime, that's a community level trauma. I'm sure everyone there right now is feeling that on some level. How do small towns process something that violent where something like this has just never happened before? I'm sure that is just running through people like a virus at the moment. What does that do to your sense of safety? I'm sure it destroys it. I'm sure it throws that right out the window. That's scary. Like, it is absolutely scary. How does community recover when the killer was someone known to the victims? Again, that's trauma. It's trauma for everybody. I live in McMinnville, which is bigger, I think, than Forest Grove. But if this were to happen in McMinnville, I would feel that. I would totally feel like, holy crap, I wouldn't want certain people to be alone or outside, or like that changes your whole viewpoint, on how you live your day to day. So some unanswered questions, what triggered the violence? Why kill everyone on the property? What happened in the hours before the murders? Why burn the vehicle? Why flee to Washington? What was the final straw? Those are questions that I don't know if we're going to get answers to all of them, but hopefully some of those will come out in the investigation. Whew, that is heavy, and that is happening right now. This isn't a long time ago in a faraway place. This is literally 20 minutes away from me, north, right now. So that's crazy. Very scary stuff, very traumatic, very awful. I normally would ask if anyone has any more details to share them, but this is so fresh and new. I don't think anyone knows anything more than what I just discussed with you. This is something we're all just going to have to kind of wait and see how it unfolds. So, crazy story, but hey, thanks for showing up. Thanks for sitting down and having this chat with me and going over these details. I might try something different here coming up. I might, work on some ideas for different topics for different days of the week, something like that. We'll see what happens. I don't want everything to just be true crime. Although it is interesting. But anyway, all right. Well, hey, enjoy your Monday night, whatever you choose to do. I hope you're having a relaxing evening. I hope you have a good Tuesday. I'll check in with you guys probably tomorrow. So for Wade's World, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys next time, all right? So thank you very much.